The Nintendo Switch sure took the world by storm last year, but I think its second year is definitely its time to shine. I'm Falcon and today on gameranx, the top 25 new Switch games of 2018. Number 25 is Shakedown Hawaii. Essentially, the idea of the game is it's a top-down shooter under the guise of creating a quote-unquote legitimate corporation. This game looks like a legitimate riot at the expense of corporate America, which, as we all know, could always use a little more ribbing. It kind of looks like a comical take on a bullet hell that maybe isn't quite a bullet hell, but it looks like it'll be a lot of fun to quote-unquote rezone Hawaii with a flamethrower. Number 24 is Wargroove, a turn-based tactics game with fairly simple graphics that honestly looks like a lot of fun. It looks kind of like a little bit of a simplified take on the tactical game, but what's fun is it's up to 4 players, and the goal of the game is to make an accessible version of this type of game that gets progressively harder and is ultimately very difficult to master. I also think that because of Switch's touchscreen, that's just going to be an automatic good thing for the game, and I look forward to playing with friends. Number 23 is Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition, which, by the way, if you saw my Dynasty Warriors 9 review, you probably know that this is actually one of my favorite games on the Wii U. It's fun as hell. It's everything that Dynasty Warriors is supposed to be, but it's with the Zelda stuff. And it's so much fun. It's seriously such a good game, and another reminder of why Dynasty Warriors 9 was a mistake. Number 22 is Dragon Mark for Death, a co-op side-scrolling battler with some old-school looking PlayStation level pixel art that I definitely think is sweet. It's nice to see a side-scrolling action RPG leaning into that era. It's a smaller scale project, but it's supposed to be pretty massive, having 30 very big quests in which you will forge a pact with a dragon, which sounds exciting to me, and I really like what it looks like. Number 21 is Payday 2. You know what Payday 2 is. It's a co-op first-person shooter where you take part in heists, like drug trafficking, rigging elections, and also obviously robberies, in an escalating fashion until it gets absolutely wild. Payday 2 is just a fun game. It's really hard to put it any other way. It's awesome that it's coming to Switch, honestly. Number 20 is Dead Cells, which is being described as 2D Souls-light. I would say it's an apt description, except for it does have a little bit faster of a pace, maybe a little bit more arcadey, but truthfully, I think it really looks phenomenal. This is something I will be playing because this is my kind of game right here. It describes itself as a roguelite Metroidvania action platformer with permadeath. Sign me up. Number 19 is Mega Man 11, a game that is leaning into the history of Mega Man from the looks of it, but not necessarily the look of it. For me, it looks a lot like this is the game Mighty Number 9 should have been. Now that doesn't mean it will be, but if you pay attention to like the physics going on, it's so much closer to Mega Man than most 3D platforming ever is when it's meant to emulate a 2D platformer's physics. See classic levels in the Sonic generations on 3D Sonic games. Now, Mega Man 11 is also leaning into the personality of Mega Man with a trailer that just oozes personality and good level design. I cannot wait for Mega Man 11. Number 18 is Runner 3, which is very much exactly what it sounds like, except for it's very pretty. You see a lot of runner-style games looking very basic with very amateur art that hasn't really developed much of a style, but this is not like that. This is a very pretty, very interesting looking game. Number 17 is Kentucky Route Zero TV Edition, which is an adventure game about a secret highway in the caves underneath Kentucky. The world is quote-unquote magical realist, which if you've played the PC version, you probably understand, but if not, it's kind of a somewhat more cynical take on the fantasy genre, intended to feel much more real, but still incorporate those magic elements. Number 16 is Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection, which doesn't just kind of deliver on that. This is a serious collection, and it brings online play to 4 of the most popular of the games, which any Street Fighter fan should be ecstatic about. I can't wait for it, and it's badass that they actually included the original Street Fighter in it. Good on you, Capcom. Number 15 is Super Meat Boy Forever, the follow-up to the original Super Meat Boy game, it does look to contain some runner elements. We don't know for sure if that's the main bit of the gameplay. We haven't really been told a lot, but I'll say this, if there's anybody who can pull off that, it's Super Meat Boy, because the mechanics of that game are really, really good. It's one of the smoothest platformers of all time, so if they start to put in some elements like that, I'm not too upset. However, I do hope that it is not the full-blown game itself. Super Meat Boy's awesome. Of course I'll try out a sequel to it. Duh. Number 14 is Dandara, a 2D Metroidvania that's billing itself as having a quote-unquote directionless world, and by that it means that gravity can be subverted. Honestly, this looks like a great game. There's grappling hook action, there's several different art styles mishmashed into one thing, that you can see lots of different influence. And again, it's really cool to see modern styles of games sort of lean into the PlayStation era of graphics. It's a game that people really like on PC, but it's kind of built for a platform like Switch. And I'm happy it's being brought to Switch, because otherwise I don't know that this would have made it to my attention. It looks great. Number 13 is Fee, which we have to mention has kind of mixed reviews, but is included because of the redeeming qualities of this game. It is actually a very good game. It's just really ambitious. It tries to go for so many different things, and a lot of them it does well, and some of them it doesn't do as well. Not necessarily bad, but it is a fun game with a really unique art style that combines platforming, action, puzzles, etc. to create what I consider to be a really good experience, and I think that it's worth trying, and it's not too hard to find a lot of other people that agree. It's great that it's coming to Switch, and I think worth a shot. Number 12 is Dark Souls Remastered. How can you possibly be like, I don't want Dark Souls on Switch? Because let me tell you this, I want Dark Souls on Switch. I want that game on my Switch. I want to be able to carry Dark Souls with me. I want to have a platform that can handle it, and it can because it can handle Doom in a pretty sufficient fashion. Maybe not perfect, but Dark Souls ain't Doom. And to just be able to take a little tablet-sized thing out and play Dark Souls, I'm there. I am there. Number 11 is Shovel Knight King of Cards, which is basically a prequel to the other Shovel Knight stuff. Not that it matters heavily, it features King Knight, and if you have Treasure Trove, it'll be free. This brings 4 new worlds to the Shovel Knight canon, as well as 30 new stages, as well as a card battle minigame. Honestly, if you like Shovel Knight, this is a must. Number 10 is Celeste, another game that's kind of solidifying the Switch as the place to go for great indie platformers. Celeste is such a unique looking game. More importantly, it has really great precision gameplay and a legitimately enjoyable story and a nice clean screen. It accomplishes this by giving you information like how much dash meter you have left by changing the color of the protagonist's hair. This is a damn good game. It's well designed and it's fun as hell, and because it's coming to Switch, if you have a Switch, it's a must-have. Number 9 is Octopus Traveler, which is an intentionally old school Square JRPG style game that has been really overhauled in its visual department. It kind of takes the best of both worlds, leaning into both the pixel art and the 3D elements of the game. It's really a gorgeous game coming from the team that brought you Bravely Default, experimenting with art styles in a way that honestly I've kind of wanted for a really long time, and it's nice to see it finally happen. Number 8 is Wolfenstein II The New Colossus, which continues the story of the original Wolfenstein. I'm just really excited to find out how this looks on the Switch. Wolfenstein isn't quite as visually complex, effects-wise, as Doom, so I expect it to actually come out a little bit better. Also, I just love the 2 new Wolfenstein games. Number 7 is Bayonetta 1 and 2, classic games. If you haven't played Bayonetta, it's kind of like Devil May Cry on crack. And because Bayonetta 2 was on the Wii U, not as many people got to play it as the original Bayonetta, but the Switch is here to remedy that. To have these on the run also, just a massive advantage of a handheld / home console. In every way I'm excited for Bayonetta 3, but I'm particularly excited to be able to play these games anywhere I want. It's not as if I haven't played them before, but I will be picking this up. Number 6 is Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, which is of course, again, a Wii U game that really didn't get the kind of exposure it deserved because it was on the Wii U. Tropical Freeze is an update to the Donkey Kong franchise that just works on 100 different levels. It's a game that nails the feel of the originals while updating it to a totally new era, and frankly, Donkey Kong Country is one of the best platformers of all time, period. Tropical Freeze is a worthy successor, and I can't wait to play it again. Number 5 is Nintendo Labo, which honestly is cardboard accessories for Nintendo Switch. Some people have met this with a bit of skepticism. I made a video about how it's a great idea. You can watch that here on gameranx, of course. Honestly, I think it's going to be something that's really cool. It could end up being the start of sort of a cottage industry of new custom ideas for the Nintendo Switch that greatly increase the capabilities of the platform. It's also a fun toy for kids because it is a Nintendo product. Number 4 is Kirby Star Allies, which is a totally new, full-blown Kirby game. You can, however, recruit enemies. That's the Star Allies part of it, but this is 100% just what you would expect from a Kirby game. Add in that co-op and team-up capability, and this is a very promising, brand new Kirby adventure that I'm really looking forward to because Kirby's fun as hell. It's one of those franchises that is deceptively simple, but very deep, fun, and interesting. Number 3 is Yoshi, a new Yoshi's Island game that takes a cardboard aesthetic with some new 3D elements that looks to bring a new element into the level design of Yoshi that, to me, looks really fun. The Yoshi's Island games are frankly just beyond some of my favorite games, and a new action platformer with a new aesthetic is nothing less than what I would expect from Nintendo. Number 2 is Mario Tennis Aces, which if you're a Mario Tennis veteran, I think you're going to be excited about because, as you know, Mario Tennis is a deceptively simple game. One of those ones that gets deeper and deeper as you go further, and promises to bring some really interesting boss battles and story mode returns. I'm excited because I actually really enjoy these games. They're goofy, but like the best kind of goofy. And finally, a new Fire Emblem game because you know exactly why that's great. Fire Emblem is phenomenal on the 3DS, but we've all wanted one that you can play on the damn TV. With the Nintendo Switch being Nintendo's handheld and home console, we're basically going to be treated to what I think we should have gotten all along, the HD full-blown Fire Emblem game. Come on. Let's just say that the Nintendo Switch is the best possible thing to happen to Fire Emblem, and I'm really excited. Not that I didn't like Fire Emblem Warriors. Warriors is fun. It's a Warriors game that was not messed up in the way that the recent one was. But what I really wanted is a mainline Nintendo Switch Fire Emblem game, and that's where we are. Thank you, Nintendo. What Nintendo Switch title are you looking forward to the most, or have you already found your game of the year? Leave us a comment, let us know what you think, and if you like this video, please click like, of course. If you're not subscribed, now would be a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week, and the best way to see them first is, of course, a subscription. As always, we thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter at FalconTheHero, and we'll see you next time right here on gameranx.